Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Loch Briar Knits podcast. Welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Oh, I really needed that third cup of coffee this morning. And welcome if you're a new viewer. This is my little crafty corner of the interwebs, and I am fresh off of doing the Vlogmas 2024. So thank you for everybody who checked that out. I had a lot of fun doing it this year, and we actually got some snow, so we had a white Christmas. It's gone now. It's been rained out. We're back to our regular Nova Scotia weather, but it was really pretty well lasted, and we got out for some good walks with Scout, who I'm pretty sure is actually the star of the show, not me. But it is the first day of 2025, so Happy New Year, everybody. And that means I am going to kind of set up my Make 9. Last year, my Make 9 was based on using strictly stash. And my goal was to I had picked out the stash that I wanted to knit with the caveat that I could change that out if I wanted to, but it had to all be from stash. And I had the lofty idea I was going to knit 9 sweaters. I did not knit 9 sweaters. I think I knit 3 or 4, and I either have the 4th or the 5th downstairs with one sleeve left to go. Yeah, it wasn't as successful from that perspective as I wanted it to be, but one thing it was everything was knit from stash. One thing that I did do is that I found ways to use up like the little odd bits of stash. Like, I don't think you can see it up there, but like little smaller amounts. So I knit about 4 or 5 Musselburgh hats, which used up a full skein pretty much. And then I knit the Sophie scarf. I knit about, I think I'm on my 5th or 6th one of those, using up odd bits. And then I did mini sweaters, which I don't think I have one here, but what I did was I started knitting up little mini sweaters for Christmas ornaments. I should probably clarify what those were for. And then I would put them on these little wooden hangers that I got off of Amazon. I knit about 6 of those so far, and I'm going to be knitting more. I think I have like 3 bags of these, and I think there's 10 in a bag. They're addictive, and they're a very quick knit. So I did do up a lot of things. I did a huge lap blanket for my nephew for Christmas that was knit out of fisherman's wool that I had on hand. I did have to buy one or 2 skeins because I didn't have enough. I did run out for that. What I did was when I bought it, a couple of them came in 2 packs, so now I have enough to do another blanket if I want to, which I think I will because I've knit one of those blankets for his father the year before, and I also knit one for him this year, and I love them. I want one for myself. My goal this year is, again, to knit only from stash because this is a no-buy year for me. I was trying to think how I want to do it. I didn't want to peg specific yarns or specific patterns and then feel kind of tied into that. I will share this bundle with you, but here, as you can see, there is clearly more than 9 projects here. I'm going to read to you my rules. For my 2025 Make 9, the goal is to use patterns, that I have purchased previous to 2025. I am not allowed to use any patterns that I've purchased in 2025, and I'm actually going to try to get away without buying any patterns this year. Not that I don't want to, but I need to curb my spending. None of the patterns, with the exception of, I do have the Coastal Crop raglan on here, but none of the patterns that I have in this. I'm trying to see what I'm doing. None of these patterns have been knit before by me, with the exception of this one here, the Coastal Crop Raglan. But I have yarn in my stash that I want to do a different second one with, so I did put this one in here. All of the other patterns are patterns that I have purchased previously, prior to 2025, and I have to knit them all with yarns that I have in my stash. So I have a real mix, and I will share this bundle. I'll put a link to the bundle down below if anybody wants to kind of check it out. And I can add patterns. I can pull from patterns that I don't have on this list, but I think this list gives me a really good cross section of scarves, cowls, pullovers, like sleeveless pullovers, shawls, sweaters, color work. There's a cardigan on here which I haven't knit before, and this is one that I had purchased because it's really good for somebody doing their first cardigan, which I'm a little freaked out by. But I also have a couple of little fun ones that I have had in my stash, and I thought these ones, I can get them up here without dropping my computer. This, and then there's one over here. Those are little like houses, and I thought those might make like a neat little, I could kind of do like a knit Christmas village for a Christmas gift. I do have a good cross section of things that I can pull from. And I can also go back into the patterns that I currently have if nothing there is really speaking to me at the moment. The only caveat is, the two caveats are, it has to be a pattern purchased previous to 2025, and it has to be knit with yarn in my stash. So that is my goal for this year's Make 9. So there's not like a whole lot of different things to show you. Ooh, set that down there. As far as I'm gonna knit this with this yarn, blah, 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 blah. But as I kind of pick projects, I will let you know what it is that I'm doing and what yarn I'm doing it with. Now, one thing that, sorry, I got bangs in December, again, sort of, floopy bangs. I'm still getting used to the fact that I have hair kind of coming down this way now. One thing that I am doing is I'm taking part in the Sox-A-Long by Soxy Nana, Alice, and Diane from My Pink Bathtub, and it's knit a pair of socks a month. My goal this year is to knit up my stash. I mean, obviously not all of it. I have a ridiculous amount. I'll be knitting for years before I buy anything new. I have a lot of sock yarn. And what I want to do is to try to make as many of my Christmas gifts as possible for the, obviously not last Christmas, but for the Christmas 2025, just to kind of keep costs down, to use what I have, and also to, my family's pretty good with homemade gifts. We've got some really crafty people in the family, and those who aren't crafty still really like getting the handmade gifts. I was told by my sister that my brother-in-law was a little disappointed that he didn't get a pair of wool socks this year, so I may have to knit him 2 pairs to make up for it for next year. But what I'm going to do is, the Sox-A-Long starts today, so I did cast on my first pair that I'm doing, but I of course left it downstairs, so that's not helpful. But I have picked out the yarns that I'm going to knit with, which is subject to change. This is all yarn that has been in my stash for quite some time. Here is the first one. So the top one is Evie Knits, and that's self-striping. This one here is, I believe it's Summer Fields or Summer Flowers by Lichen and Lace. And this one here, I have 2 of this one, and it's by, I think it's Seawall Fibers, who are in Nova Scotia. And I bought this several years ago, so I'm not sure if they're still dyeing or not, but the colors in this, I bought 2 skeins, and I'm really glad I did because otherwise I wouldn't be knitting this as a gift. But look at the colors in there. They're so deep and rich. So those are 2. Now this is one that I bought at my local yarn store, the Loop, and it is Fiberlia. It's these 2 together, and they've got these lovely muted colors to them. Like, it's just really pretty. Those are the first batch that I've caked up that I'm knitting with, and then I've also pulled out you can see these. So here's some more. These are more Evie knits here. This is a German brand I may use. And then here is another Evie knits here. These 2 are Homespun House. This is Celtic Fibers, and I think this is West Loft Spinners, I think it's called. And the one I have downstairs is Log House Cottage Yarns. That is my plan. One of my plans is, aside from the Make 9, is also to use up my sock stash, like a good chunk. Well, I don't even know if this isn't even going to put a dent in my sock stash. Who am I kidding? But it'll put a small dent in it, especially where I'm not accumulating more unless I pull from my own hand-dyed yarns, which is possible. My shop right now is currently closed for the holidays. It was also closed because Canada Post was on strike and I couldn't ship anything. So it's going to be opening up soon once I can carve out some time to actually get a good amount done. Also, the other thing I do need to do this year is decide what I'm doing with my advent calendar. This was not actually an advent calendar per se. Basically what I did was I went on to Lichen and Lace's shop on Etsy, and I squinted, clicked on a bunch of the bundles that she had. Then when they arrived in the box, my husband put them in bags without me seeing them. I do have to decide which project I'm going to do with this, and I may not necessarily do it all as one project. I may split it up, or I may do one project with them and any leftovers use them in the mini sweaters for the Christmas for next year. Yeah, so I have some plans on how to use up my stash. Now, I did get some yarn for Christmas, which I will show you. I made a wish list on Knit Picks, and so my husband had some ideas on what to get me for Christmas. There's going to be some crinkling here, people. I keep my stash, for any new viewers, in Ziploc bags because I got paranoid about moths at one point last year, even though there were no moths in the house. So I put everything in Ziploc bags. Anyway, so the first one, this is Mist by Wool of the Andes in the worsted weight. I think that's focusing. There we go. I love that color. I got 10 of those, so that's the sweater's quantity in a bit. The other Wool of the Andes was the Cilantro Heather. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love that color. Then I have High Desert Sport Weight in Wood Smoke. That's also from Knit Picks. And then I have Quail in High Desert by Picks. Is in, yeah, Quail. So that one is a bit of a lighter gray. They're the same, but they're different. So I got that for Christmas. So I do have some new stash to work on, and I have these to decide. I will show you something else I got, my husband got me for Christmas. I had done up like an Amazon wish list. I picked these and I thought it was 1 per pack, but there's 3 per pack. So it's, you put the yarn ball on here and then you can walk and knit. It's really cool. They have this one. It's got like cats on it, and then this thing here has little like cat shapes on it. Then there is this one, which has got flowers. And then there is this one. It's just almost like a, I guess, a mosaic. Just love them. And they got these like nice, you know, kind of bright handles on them. I can walk and knit. That was pretty much the holidays and what my plans for the new year are. I am hoping, may not happen for the first couple of months, but I do want to start. Usually I'll get like a podcast and then a monthly vlog in each month. And I would like to kind of increase that as time allows. So I did put down in the community section, I think is where you find it, kind of what kind of 4 options of different things that you might like to see covered during the podcast. If you can't find that, but if there's anything else that you would like me to see me cover or talk about or kind of dive into for the podcast this year, then let me know. I am wide open, looking for ideas and happy to kind of, you know, veer off into somewhere unknown. Veer off into the great unknown. But for today, what I am going to do is I am going to jump on the kickoff for the Sock-A-Long. But check that out. I'll leave the links down below if you're interested. The goal is a pair of socks a month, but you're not limited to that. So, you know, go to town. But check it out. I think it's actually going to be a lot of fun. It seems like it's a really good community over there. Yeah, so I think that's about everything that's going on right now. I will probably try to check in a week or two. I don't know if I'll get this up today because we have some other things going on. I think my stepson's coming over. Yeah, it's our last day of vacation before we have to go back to work, which for me will be in here because I work from home, which seemed like a good idea at the time. And I liked it when it was, you know, 2 or 3 days a week. But now I'm starting to feel a little captive in my house. Anyway, I do have some plans for this year. And as they kind of unfold, I will keep you in the loop. And if you guys are doing any plans for your Make 9, or if you've got any plans on what you want to do as far as your makes for the year, the yarn you want to use, or what your plans are in that regard, let me know. I'm very interested to see what other people are doing because who knows what ideas that's going to set off in my cranium. So thanks for checking in, and I will check in with you guys in another week or two and let you know how I'm doing and how the Sock-A-Long's going and which cast on, or actually, if I finish the sleeve of my sweater, I'm going to finish that sleeve. I'm going to finish that sleeve and get that sweater off the needles. It's been languishing. It's ridiculous. It's my DRK Everyday Sweater, number 3. It's made out of the stash. I'm making it out of Quince & Co. Lark mixed with a loft mohair. So it's lovely. And I'm almost positive I made the sleeves long enough because I have a really bad habit of having my sleeves too short. So I actually measured it against my existing DRK sweater and then added 2 inches in length to the sleeve, which I think will do it. And then I still have to do, and then I think I made the cuff a little longer. So I think it should be good. Once I block it. Right now it feels like it's like up to here, and when I block it, it may grow a little more too. So that's good. Anyway, that's it. I swear. That's all. That's it. Stop talking, Kelly. So I will see you guys in the next episode. And until then, happy knitting, and I will see you soon. Bye.